All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Tish Hicks. I'm the Master Sensei of the VO Dojo here in Burbank, California. And we are so excited to be doing this event today of VO on the go, get to know the dojo and VO on the go. We're joined by Joey Nader and Carl Himmelman of Apogee Electronics based in Santa Monica, California. Um, Joshua is the dojo COO. He is here facilitating with us. And Jeffrey Gilbank is part of the amazing dojo team. So we are so excited to have everyone here together. The VO Dojo and Apogee have done some fabulous events together. Usually in the before times, we would get to come bring everybody to the amazing studio that you see them sitting in and see all the fantastic things that Apogee has going on so many levels. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to bring our communities together here. Um, so yeah. So in terms of what we're going to do, and I'll have Joey and Carl introduce themselves. So the idea of today is for Apogee folks to get to know the dojo and dojo people and everyone else who is here via the dojo to get to know and understand Apogee as the amazing resource that they are. And just in the spirit of this month at the dojo is International Voiceover Month. Um, Carl is head of international sales, and we're all kind of around the world on this verge of we can go places again. So encouraging you to think of Apogee. I know my hype mic is my friend, is my little international spy friend that I bring everywhere and has served me well in many weird places that it's come through that when I've had to record. So I'm a definite friend of Apogee and personal proponent of Apogee myself. Yeah, so we're going to start with we'll introduce Joey and Carl and have them talk a little bit about what's going on at Apogee. Then I'll share a little bit about what the dojo is, ask you some questions, get to know you guys, and talk a little bit about what we do at the dojo. And then Joey and Carl are going to present what's going on at Apogee, and we'll do about a tight hour, and then open it up to breakout rooms if there's people who want to hang out and discuss anything else. And stay to the end because there's special things that we will be offering. So, excellent. Well, Joey and Carl, thank you so much for bringing us together and tell us about you and what you're here for today.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Tish. So I'm going to flip over to my screen here. So we'll start with you, Joey.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Carl.
Very smooth transition.
That was very well done. Hi, I'm Joey Nader. Nice to meet you all. Some of you may recognize me at the dojo as being a former student and hopefully to be a current student yet again soon in the future. Tish and I have known each other for probably about 20 years now, and I know Diana very well. We all used to study together on camera as actors, and Tish was so great to get me involved in voiceover. Yet she's been bugging me for years, and I was like, I got to do this. She is the best. I'm here at Apogee as I do sales, I do customer care, and I also handle the warehouse as well. So all those cute little wonderful Apogee microphones that you get probably come from me. I'm probably the one that shipped them out to you. So as Tish said before, we've done these events back in the olden times, a couple days at Apogee Studios, and I think it's been worked out well for both parties. So if there's any questions that you guys have at the end, please we want to help you guys as much as you can help us. And being a on-camera actor and a voiceover actor, I think you're going to find this presentation very, very knowledgeable and very rewarding.
Yeah, and
My name
on
is
camera. Oh, I'm sorry. Just interjecting. On camera is like you equally have to be set up to produce fantastic audio for your auditions too. Okay, sorry, Carl. Go ahead.
No, it's an excellent point, and we'll touch on that in our stuff today. So my name is Carl Himmelman, and as Tish mentioned, I take care of international sales. So I'm lucky enough to travel the world and talk about some of the exciting, fun things that we make here at Apogee. So I've been with the company basically most of my adult life. Coming up on 10 years for me here, and I've seen a few of the events that we've done with VO Dojo in the past, just kind of afar, but this is the first one I've been involved with, and I could not be more excited. So we, it was really exciting the past couple of days, kind of getting all of our camera equipment set up, and talking about some of the materials and the topics that we're going to share with you today.
Yeah, excellent. Well, you just got to know us. I would like to begin by asking you guys a little bit about you. Would love to hear in the chat where you're calling from, first of all, because it could be very exciting with the international reaches of both of our organizations. What you do in terms of like how do you use your Apogee. I'm assuming everybody here has some relationship with microphones on some level, whether you're a musician or a singer or a voiceover artist or an on-camera actor. You probably have some relationship there. So we'd love to hear what you're doing. I would also love to hear, obviously in a succinct way, and maybe we can open this up to a little discussion, but how you've been impacted by the pandemic. Because one of the things that I've noticed as a voiceover actor is that it was really a sector of the entertainment industry that was not only like not really impacted, but actually took on a lot of where energies went, either with that being, oh my gosh, advertising agencies need to change ads every 20 seconds as the entire world's landscape changed. Shows that couldn't be produced are now being animated series. There's so many ways. And then suddenly everyone was like, well, last session at You Should Do Voiceover, our introductory course, we had 3 ER docs and the star and several cast members of the Broadway cast of Phantom of the Opera, as well as like opera singers from around the world, because everything has stopped. So, so would love to hear in the chat where you're from, what you do, and like in a brief sentence, where how you've been impacted. Because one of the things that I love to share about the dojo and Apogee is that we're here to like is how do you think of voiceover as part of your diversified portfolio as a performer? I think everyone's been really impacted in ways that we couldn't even imagine a year and a half ago, right? Like what? Everything? And audio engineers too, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys have had this experience as well. So, and as everything has caused us to go in home, Apogee, I think, is one of the most powerful parts of your home studio that you can have. So, yeah, yeah. Cool. So, Joshua, do we want to hear anyone's voices and stories? Do we have time for that, or should we hop along? This is
Well,
cool. I can read out some.
thanks.
Okay.
Actually, let's hear from Joey and Carl to get the presentation that they have dialed in with their screen share, for this stretch of the call, and then we'll hear from people's questions. As you type your questions in the chat, we'll have time towards the end of the call to bring your voices forward.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna have Joey and Carl present first, and then we'll talk about the dojo after.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Well, this is great. We've got a lot of people doing a lot of different things, which is great. So we will check in. Well, now we're all introduced. Dojo, Apogee, all of you who are wonderfully here. So why don't we have you guys take it away and hear what's going on at Apogee and what you guys are up to.
Sure. So, and thank you for that. So a little bit of backstory about Apogee for some of you who might not be familiar with us. We got our start back in 1985, and we're based in Santa Monica. And really our ethos and our main thing that we're focused on when we show up to work every day is trying to be as cutting edge as possible and really truly innovative for everything related to digital audio. So, you know, we got our start really back in the 1980s when digital audio had a really bad reputation. You know, you might be familiar with, you know, phrases like tape machines and, you know, you know, this concept that there was this sort of golden era of sound quality, and, you know, CDs and modern technology have, you know, was maybe a step backwards. So we developed some equipment back then that really took it to the next level and really corrected digital audio and made it sort of realize its fullest potential. Moving on into the 1990s, you might be familiar with systems like Pro Tools and have heard of, you know, audio engineers, both on the music side of things, the post-production side of things, of course, voiceover as well. There was some room for improvement there as well. So we developed some of the first really truly high quality audio devices that attached to those early Pro Tools systems. And we've continued to develop products for Pro Tools systems even today. In the 2000s, we saw the explosion of sort of the project studio. So now it was really the first time that you were able to get this level of professional sound quality out of a commercial studio and into your project studio, whether that be at home or a smaller facility. And so with products like Apogee Duet and Ensemble Thunderbolt, this level of performance was now attainable virtually anywhere. And then moving on into the 2010s, we saw the advent of more mobile devices. So professional devices like Jam Plus and Mic were the first devices that attached to the peripheral port on iOS devices, so iPhones, iPads, and iPod touches. And so taking this concept that we saw in the 2000s of, you know, the attainable sort of studio quality moving into areas it hadn't been before, this was just a further iteration of that. So we were able to take this studio quality, but now in your pocket with microphones like that. So with that being said, what we want to do today is kind of showcase what we've been working on recently and show some of the latest products from Apogee and how really they can make life easier as a voiceover artist, and, you know, not just for music production and for post-production. And so we're going to get started with our first product, Clip Mic. So Clip Mic, I'm going to flip over to snazzy camera number 2. Clip Mic is a USB lavalier type microphone. So a lavalier type microphone, some of you might be familiar with this already, but this is one that clips to your lapel on your clothing. And so it's really discreet but very high quality. So it's an omnidirectional microphone, which means it's not quite as sensitive to what direction it's pointed in. You can just sort of have it, you know, facing up towards your face there. And then with it being USB, it attaches to your iPhone, your iPad, or a laptop computer. So if you have a Windows or Mac laptop. So it's really flexible in terms of what it's able to be attached to. And it comes in this nice little carrying case. So obviously you can, you know, travel with it very easily. It goes, you know, in your carry-on bag or in your camera bag if you're doing something, you know, video related. But this is really the second version of this microphone that that we created. We had an original one that connected just to iPhone, and this is one that we just currently developed and started shipping earlier this week, actually. And this newer one sports this sort of generic USB connection that allows you to have multiple different connections, whether it's the iOS like we spoke about, or those laptop computers. So this is really important for a handful of reasons. Why someone would choose a lavalier microphone, specifically where it got its history from is for on-camera stuff. So if someone's doing maybe a self-tape, maybe it's not just a voiceover thing, but you're doing some self-tape for an acting job or something like that. This is a great way of sort of closing the distance between your camera angle and your microphone source, which is a big problem. And actually, to flip back over to my presentation very quickly, I have a little demonstration of that I want to share with you guys.
With Clip Mic Digital connected, I've got the shot I need, plus crisp and clear audio, all recorded to the same file created by the camera app.
So you can see our friend Roger here. He's wearing his Clip Mic Digital. And so he's framed up really nicely on screen. And actually the visual quality is really nice too, with it being just an iPhone. And you can hear he's coming through really nicely, and it looks and sounds professional. Whereas
I placed the camera for the medium shot I want, but as you can hear, the phone's built-in mic picks up way too much room ambience at this distance.
So here's Roger again, but this time using just the built-in microphone on the iPhone. The same would be true if you're using a dedicated camera. Maybe you've made the investment to have that better visual quality for some of your self-tapes. This is a great way of, for a really affordable price, increasing the sound quality as well. So it works really for, both of those different use cases there.
And I've actually used those myself for my own on-camera self-tapes, the Clip Mic, and I also use the recording app, Meta Recorder, in that as well. And the cool thing about Meta Recorder is it's a free app, but if you have Apogee, any Apogee gear that plugs into it, it unlocks all kinds of free little, nice little qualities that you wouldn't get with the regular app. So I would highly recommend checking out the Apogee website for the Meta Recorder as well. And to tell you the truth, with the Clip Mic, the self-tape sound it's just amazing, as we can see from Roger's video.
The other thing that I think it's important to mention, and man, I should not have worn a dark shirt because you can't see me clip it to my lapel here. But we have some friends at Penguin Random House, and we were having the conversation of really the difference between voiceover and maybe narration for an audiobook or something like that. And they were telling us how some narration actors, they truly want to be very animated. They're really acting with their voice and with their body, even though it's just an audio medium. And some of the difficulties with using maybe a big condenser microphone is it's very sensitive to how far away you are from the microphone. And while that's, I'm sure, something that you need to be cognizant of and you can work on, Clip Mic, because it clips to your lapel, you're maintaining a consistent distance between the microphone and your source, which is your voice. And so you can be maybe robust and really excited without having to worry about too much of your audio really changing. The dynamic and the emotion comes through your voice, not through the volume, because you're closer or farther away from the microphone.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Wearable microphone. It's pretty nice. So we actually have one plugged in right now, and I'd like to, I'm sharing my screen still, I didn't realize that. Let's switch over to the Clip Mic audio, and Joey has some copy here. So I'm gonna flip over now. And so this should be audio coming in from the Clip Mic, and take it away, Joey.
Okay, now some of this copy might sound familiar. Tish, thank you very much. I saved a lot of my copies from classes. So anyway, here we go. It's hot out there. Hot enough to fry an egg on concrete. Hotter than a jalapeno stuffed in a tamale cooked in a brick oven heated by a jet engine in an air show in Nairobi. Hotter than molten steel poured over barbecue coals at a Memorial Day party on the sun. Point is, it's hot. And when it's hot, you sweat. And when you sweat, nothing rehydrates, replenishes, and refuels better than Gatorade, even if it's hotter than wearing a rubber jumpsuit inside a sauna floating in a volcano.
Yeah, Joey.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So the last thing that I wanted to sort of touch on for Clip Mic is its portability. And I'm sure this is something that you guys talk about in a bunch of different ways, but how you could really find yourself in a variety of different situations. Maybe you're at the grocery store, maybe you're traveling in a hotel room, and the opportunity for an audition presents itself maybe at the least opportune time you could ever expect. And so, this being very conveniently sort of sized to fit in a glove box or a handbag or your backpack or something like that, it's like a studio on the go. It really lends itself quite nicely to sort of, having you be prepared for any of those opportunities when they present themselves.
It's and Carl's not joking about that. I carry mine with me constantly, my clip mic too, and my hype mic. And then I have a little portable stand for my iPhone if I got to do a self tape. Seriously, those are tools that any actor, whether you're on camera or a voice actor, you really need to carry with you at all times. And a good charger.
Yeah.
So can we actually see the microphone? Just not the case?
Yeah. It's a little hard to see because it's mostly just wire. But you should, am I on the right angle here?
Yep.
Should be. So here's the capsule, and I don't know if that's coming through too well here, but it's really, really small. I mean, it's very discreet, and most of what you're looking at there is kind of this clip that you use to clip it to your clothing. But this is the actual capsule here, and so you can see how sort of petite that is. And then most of the magic is happening in the body. So you get this nice, I think it's a 1 meter long cable here. And then the body, can stick into your pocket or something like that. And this is where the USB cable connects, and then you can attach to either your iPhone or your laptop.
There's no clunky packs anywhere.
No, and it really, if you're used to sort of the sender, receiver, transmitter sort of setup with a wireless lavalier, this really simplifies things because, as simple as, your iPhone and your clip mic, now that's sort of your transmitter, your receiver, everything all at once. And you can, record directly to your iPhone. There's also almost no setup. There are some deeper settings that you can dive into if you truly want to start fine tuning things, but it's as easy as plugging into the bottom of your iPhone and you're ready to go. You can open up the application that you want to record to, whether that's Apogee's Meta Recorder or Twisted Wave, or again, doing the self-tape with just the native camera app on the iPhone.
The cool thing with the clip mic is when I do my self-tapes is I put my cell phone in my back pocket and I hook up the clip mic and I just run the cord right up underneath my shirt. I take like a little piece of gaffing tape if you want. If you don't want to use the clip because maybe you're afraid that it's going to see that, you just run it up right up through here. And
so
you can't even see that on camera. And the sound just comes through amazing. The other cool thing about clip mic, which correct me if I'm wrong, if you have an iPad and let's say you're a budding filmmaker, I think you can control up to 6 of those and use those as actually a remote mic if you're filming and recording, which is actually kind of cool in doing a film. So, let's say you were doing a shot, which was, suddenly MOS where that's without sound. And then all of a sudden you had an actor and they're like, hey, you know what? I really want to drop the sound in there. So you can already record the dialogue remotely and then just drop that in at any point using Meta Recorder.
Wow, that's
I know, right?
That's
mine
so
too.
Cool. That's so cool. And then does it work cross-platform or is it still Mac-based?
Cross-platform, so it'll work with Windows computers. It will work with Mac computers, of course, and then definitely, got its start iOS. Working on Android compatibility, so not there yet, but it will work in pretty much every other scenario. So, even I'm blanking on the name, but the basically Windows platform tablet computers, it'll work on those as well.
Oh, cool. And is now a good time to talk about the price range of this? Because I want one.
Yeah, an excellent detail that we have not gotten to yet, but this is $199. So for under $200, you're basically getting an Apogee quality lavalier microphone, Apogee converter, Apogee microphone preamp, all sort of built into this really slick little carrying case. And, you know, with the power of your iPhone, it's sort of eliminated the need for, you know, transmitter receiver packs and thing. And I think, not to get too much on a tangent, but this is a really great example of sort of the innovation sort of idea that we've come up with. We have so many people nowadays that, you know, they invest in these Sony A7 mirrorless cameras. You know, it's a camera for a few $1,000s, but it's shooting almost movie-like image quality. And so without having to invest in a really big, elaborate lavalier system, a couple of height mics, a couple of clip mics and a couple of iPhones, and the meta recorder system, you have a really very capable wireless system with some really powerful sound quality.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
you
And
can-
then also, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Joey.
I was just going to say, and the cool thing is, again, with the meta recorder, since it's a free app, you get to unlock a whole bunch of free extras with that. Since you own an Apogee thing, you plug that right in. Boom.
Meta recorder becomes like your DAW, right?
Mhm.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's the native recorder, and so it's a free app just to do recording. But I think that it's something like a 5 or 10 minute limit to recording. If you have a clip mic attached, it's unlimited, so you have no time limit there.
You have the product, you can use the thing. Yeah.
Exactly, you don't have to pay anything extra to unlock the full
Oh,
feature.
cool.
So you can do things like the satellite recording with meta recorder. If you didn't have an Apogee mic, it's just I think it's like $9 or something that you have to pay. But if you have an Apogee microphone, it's all free and unlocks.
That's cool, and must be very smart that you would be able to know that. The other thing that I just occurred to me is I keep on getting more and more mocap auditions, and I have to translate from voiceover. Like I can do anything in voiceover, but I'm like, all right, on camera. Oh, right, okay. And so, like, I'm excited to get one of these because it'll just free it up to not have to be. Yeah, that's awesome. But the performance capture is another realm of the voiceover industry that this would be really, really applicable. And I love the audiobook stuff too.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to sort of wear the microphone, because it's, regardless of what you're doing with your body, like I mentioned, it's maintaining that physical distance and getting a really sort of you know, consistent sound. Your producers will be very happy.
I'm wondering if animation is also someplace that would be fun to explore that. I mean, it'd be a whole change of the dynamic, but for that.
Totally. I mean, I remember, you know, seeing clips of, I forget what movie it was, but it was, you know, Robin Williams doing, you know, voiceover for animation, and his whole body is exploding. He's, you know, very animated and crazy.
You have to stay right here. It's a different dynamic.
It didn't look like he was doing a great job of that at the time, but but this solves that problem. It makes it easy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so this is very new. So we just started shipping earlier this week on Monday. It's $199, and you know, we'll have more information at the end if you're curious about it, and we'll be able to take your questions then. So if it's okay with you guys, maybe move on to the next cool product to show here. So let's do this. We're going to talk about some of our USB condenser microphones. So I'm going to flip over to this guy here. And we're going to talk about really the two condenser microphones that Apogee has in its portfolio. So the one that I'm looking at right here with you guys is Apogee Mic Plus. So Mic Plus is should be pretty familiar looking. I mean, it you know, looks like a standard microphone that you would see in a recording studio. It's a USB condenser microphone, and it truly has that Apogee DNA in there. So there's a larger capsule inside than you would find in clip mic, and that's going to give you a little bit more detail, and for maybe you know, male voiceover talent, you'll have a little bit more low end, and how that's captured, I think, will come through a little bit better with that larger capsule, but it works for pretty much everyone. And so this is a USB microphone, so it operates very similarly to clip mic, and you're going to have the same sort of compatibility there. So you can see just the generic micro USB connection on the bottom there, and it comes with all the cables you need to attach to Mac or Windows or iOS applications there. This is unique because it has a headphone output. So if you have this set up in your recording space at home, your vocal booth, something like that, you're not only going to be able to record through it as an input device, but you'll also be able to monitor through headphones there and really
That's
sort of
huge.
audit, how that signal's coming through. So Mic Plus is one of two USB condenser microphones that we have. We also have Hype Mic, which looks almost identical, except this is it'll be gold in color, and Hype Mic has some other features that are really great for music production, which are basically analog compression built in. So I know as a voiceover artist, it's probably best to record completely dry and not have any effects or anything like that. But the compression is a great feature for some of the other applications you might use, specifically for music. So the big differences between Hype Mic and Mic Plus, obviously the compression, the thing that I just mentioned, is going to be one, but then the secondary difference is going to be this carrying case and kit. So Hype Mic, along with the compression, comes with the full sort of travel case, which is very similar to the clip mic that we showed in the beginning, and it comes with some more premium features and accessories. So Mic Plus comes with a little desktop tripod. Hype Mic's tripod is a little more robust, can kind of serve as a handle as well if you wanted to do some handheld recording. And then there's a nice microphone stand adapter. So if you want to have it attached to, say, a microphone stand right there, you can do so very easily. So it's a nice option there. So let's flip back over to my screen here. And I just want to play a video that I thought was an interesting share. It's actually from a previous version of Mic, but I still think it's a fun thing to share, just to kind of give everyone a little bit of context in terms of Apogee's DNA and how long we've sort of been at mobile recording and bringing this studio quality basically to places it hadn't been before.
This is Apogee Mic. Mic is the first professional microphone to digitally connect to iPhone. The new mic features even better sound quality and all the cables and accessories you need to connect and begin recording immediately. So people ask me all the time, what do you do when you're away from the studio and something pops up that you have to record? It does happen, and luckily I have Mic with me in the car wherever I go. So if something does come up and I have to pick up a line, all I have to do is pull out Mic from the glove box, I plug it into my iPhone and record it, and then I send it as an email. Oh, and now back to the video.
I roll like a rambling stone, got no place to call my own, know about the great unknown.
Special Apogee circuitry in Mic allows you to capture the warmth and character of your voice or instrument in GarageBand, or capture high-resolution 24-bit 96K recordings in Logic Pro 10 on the Mac. Apogee has been an industry leader in digital audio for close to 30 years. Pros rely on Apogee gear every day to record hit songs, and Apogee engineers have been able to pack that same award-winning technology into Mic.
It's sweeter than the day is long. I walk through the branches barefoot, take my chances. There's something about the great unknown.
Now you can have the same professional quality and turn your iPhone, iPad, or Mac into your own recording studio.
Oh, it makes me wonder, as I ramble on.
So it's kind of a funny story with that video. So obviously it's a previous version of Mic, so it's going to look a little bit different there. The new ones are compatible with Windows, so that's a big difference that you might have noticed there. But we were shooting this video with this great singer in here, and we had the video treatment and the script ready for the video. And our friend Joe was here visiting Apogee, giving a tour of the facility, and he's like, heck, why don't I do the VO for this video? And so that's why it's sort of intercut, not only for music, but with Joe giving the voiceover for the script we had written there. So I think it's obviously he's super talented, but it's a fantastic sort of showcase of its flexibility, not just with what it attaches to, but it's a great mic for voiceover, it's a great mic for music, and pretty much everything in between.
And also the work that Joe Cipriano is like one of the premier promo voices in the world. And so that he can pop something off in his car would go like to air.
Yeah.
Like Joe's one of the top in the promo biz. So that's kind of cool. That's cool. Yeah.
So let's,
And the mic that was in that is not a thing anymore. It's Mic Plus is the
right.
the
So
replacement
it's
of
mic
that
plus and
product,
Hype mic.
right?
And so you can see it looks a little bit different. And there's some big improvements. So not just for our friends that use Windows, which is very important to us. We want to make sure that the microphone works for them as well. But the biggest thing is the headphone output jack. So
That's super cool.
definitely mandatory that you need to be able to monitor yourself while you're recording.
And it looks like the gain is easier to control too.
the gain is easier to control, and with the headphone output, you have monitor control as well. So whether you want to hear yourself directly, or if you're recording against maybe a backing track or something, if you found yourself doing something like that, you can blend that signal in as well. And so that's what this soft touch button is up there. You can kind of control how much of yourself you hear in the headphones.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
The other big difference is going to just be in terms of overall quality. So there was a lot of plastic in the previous version of mic. This is a full die-cast metal construction. Capsule is bigger. The microphone preamp has more gain, which means more detail and less distortion, more dynamic range. And then the converters on the inside are going to be better too. So it's just going to give you overall better performance than that previous version, which already sounded great. I mean, Joe in that last clip, I think sounded really fantastic.
Cool.
So Joey, I know it's a little bit of a tough act to follow, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot.
we have a hype mic set up here, and let's take a listen to Joey do his best Joe impression.
Good luck.
So give me 1 sec, Joey. I'm going to flip over to the microphone. All right, that should be all you.
Okay. First, lift that new dial body wash and squeeze. Good. Work that white tea and vitamin E. Beautiful. Clean and condition those shoulders. That's it. Lather those antioxidants. Oh, you got this. Smooth that epidermis. You're so good. And rinse. Look at you. New Dial Body Wash, your complete daily full body skin health routine.
Hey, it's
That's
good,
amazing.
good. And it sounds good on Zoom too. That's something that's pretty cool. Like in how things work today too. That's cool.
That's good, because that doesn't always happen. Depending on how the internet is behaving and stuff, it's you're sort of at the mercy of the compression of the internet and that sort of thing. So I'm glad it's coming through okay.
Yeah, it did. But now more and more like we're doing sessions from our house. So we are on Zoom with the producers and stuff. So that's cool. That's really important to be able to, for them to be able to hear accurately.
Yep. So Hype Mic and Mic Plus, they are available now. They've been out for a little bit, not quite as new as Clip Mic. So Mic Plus without compression and with just the normal accessories, it's $259. So a little bit more than Clip Mic Digital. And then Hype Mic for $100 more, so $349. You're getting that premium accessories case. Where am I? Right here. The better tripod stand. And then the built-in analog compression circuitry.
I can hold this up. I mean, it looks very similar. It also has a little pop screen too.
Yes.
Yeah, the built-in pop screen, and you can kind of see on this second camera angle here. So we have it with the microphone stand. Camera, I guess. The microphone stand, you get this nice pop filter here, and then just the color is a little bit different, so you get that nice gold high quality there.
Good. And then these are different, just different things to plug into different devices, right?
Right. You have 3 cables that come with that.
Yeah.
And the cables will be the same for either, so you don't have to worry about if I go for the Mic Plus instead of the Hype Mic, am I losing out on some sort of cable or some sort of compatibility? The answer is no. So you get the same compatibility and cable situation for both.
And then can you talk a little bit? I know when we did demonstration in January in the before times. One of the cool things about the hype mic is that the compression settings that really make a difference. And one of the things that so struck me about being at your space, because you have the beautiful theater space, and it's basically a concert hut with brick walls, and it was a big room, and people were walking back and forth and talking. But we had a mic set up, and the way the compression settings worked, we were able to really isolate with it. It wasn't like we had a big setup. It was just kind of the mic in the room, but it sounded great. Can you talk a little bit about what those variations of compression do on that hype mic? Because I think
Absolutely. There's a couple things at play there. So first of all, the room that we have here, which you can kind of see behind us, is magic. It's a great sounding room. But there are really big, features built into Hype Mic and Mic Plus that help with that. So without going too far down the rabbit hole of microphone design, these are what are called cardioid condenser microphones. And what this means is it's very focused on whatever is in front of it. So it's going to record basically what is in front, and it's going to reject sound from the sides and the back. So both Hype Mic and Mic Plus are that polar pattern type microphone. To Tish's point, Hype Mic has, the added feature of compression settings, and you get basically what we have sort of predetermined as a light, a medium, and a heavy amount of compression. And what this does is it squashes the dynamic range a little bit, and so it can bring out sort of the softer nuances of someone's voice, but without having to raise the overall noise floor and that sort of thing. So it's really handy in, if you're in a big space, isolating it and making it sound very sort of closed in and direct, and but without being unnatural. And then some of those other settings, medium and hard, will give you a very processed, sort of finished type sound. So it might sound very broadcast like, and depending if it's appropriate or not, that might be something that you're interested in. If you're sending it to a producer who wants really the ability of controlling and doing his own EQ and processing and compression, you would want to record dry. You wouldn't want very much compression, if at all. But maybe you're not sending something to a producer, and there's a scenario where I need this to sound done, and I have 4 minutes to get this done. Put a little bit of compression on there, and it really sort of brings it to life. And in a pool of different recordings, it's going to bring yours out to the top and really make it stand out.
And I so appreciate and adore that you are a microphone company and you say, for voiceover, do nothing. It's really, really important. I think it's really easy to get caught in the swirl of like, yeah, my deck and my boot and B and my stack and it's like, just talk, really.
Yeah.
Have a good mic and a good space.
Exactly.
So it's really powerful to hear that from you. And also, one of the things that I say about that we talk about at the dojo with our techno sensei Dan Leonard as well, is like, we want the sound to be like you're beautiful with no makeup, like that. Like there's nothing. So then the engineer can be the makeup artist. But if you come in with Tammy Faye Baker makeup on, we can't do anything.
Hard to go backwards, right? From that. Yeah.
And then the natural beauty of connecting with your own voice, your authentic voice, is what brings that whole natural beauty thing, that metaphor to life. That's cool that these products are designed to do that, right?
It's the sign of a true professional, having the tools, but knowing when to use them when it's appropriate. So,
yes, grasshopper, yeah. That's great.
So
wow.
How we sort of structured things here today is that, I wanted to show something that was, relatively inexpensive, but still going to give you a lot of sort of bang for your buck. And that was Clip Mic Digital. We talked about our bread and butter microphones, Mic Plus and Hype Mic, sort of middle of the range, between $250, $350. But I also just wanted to showcase sort of what the top tier professionals are going to use in terms of, in terms of audio interface, and just to kind of round out what we do here at Apogee. We have products that cover a really wide sort of spectrum of different use cases for different types of people. So I'm going to
And Carl, as you go there,
Mhm.
just being mindful of time, getting close to the top of the hour, and we want to
Time is
hear,
10:47.
questions from people, and then talk a bit about the dojo. As we folks, if you're able to stay past the top of the hour, we want to get to as many questions as we can. I know Joey and Carl, you guys can stay past the top too, but just give just a quick time check for where we are.
Which I appreciate, because I did not look at that. So I'll keep this last one short, because it's a world that we could go into, and I want to keep this sort of brief and applicable for everyone. So this is a device that we call Symphony Desktop, and Symphony IO is sort of our flagship level of interfaces. And so an audio interface is something that you can plug your microphone into, and it basically translates that signal into computer talk, and then reverse as well. So if you have signal in your computer that you want to send out to speakers or headphones, an audio interface is really what you need for that. So Symphony Desktop is sort of, as the name implies, the desktop version of our Symphony converter system. So it's the best stuff that we make, but in this very sort of compact, ergonomic footprint. So
when you say the best part, it's like all of the things that are behind you in the studio there in this little package, right?
as you can see, we have our meters and our little controls for the signal. And then if you look at our camera angle back here, we have our channel strips back there as well. So the DNA of our nice Neve 5088 vintage recording console has sort of made its way digitally into something that can be traveled with pretty easily. But then also to be a tool for for a producer setting up maybe their really high-end vocal booth setup at home. So someone who might use this would be interested in a more expensive microphone. So maybe some sort of expensive German condenser microphone, something like that. They would maybe invest in some room treatment or a dedicated vocal booth in their home, and then different monitoring setups as well. So maybe nicer headphones, a speaker system, maybe they have an in-house producer. So just to kind of paint the full picture here, we've showed with the first few products some things that really make it accessible for you to do a lot of this work yourself, but we just wanted to also showcase sort of what maybe your producer is working with at his studio once he receives your file, or if he's recording you at his studio. So this is Symphony Desktop, and there's a bunch of stuff that to learn about this. There's some dedicated high quality microphone preamps in here, and as Tish mentioned, I think that's a great way to kind of make it brief. Is a lot of the stuff that you see in that recording console back there is found in here in a way that's a lot less expensive than that $1 million recording console. Symphony Desktop, and we'll have some more information on Symphony Desktop as well. Some of the use cases why someone would choose Symphony Desktop and a dedicated microphone versus hype mic or something like that.
And
so, we'll have those details there. So with that being said, I was just gonna start passing it back to you. I want to be cognizant of time.
I have a couple more questions. Like one of the things that I've noticed as everything switched frantically, like, oh, new studios, okay. And it was an interesting situation in the pandemic because there's people who are just starting out that were like, oh, okay, I got to get my setup going, right? Because nothing's happening. I can't just go to the studio when I book my first job, or, if I don't have a setup at home. But I mean, not people like Joe, because he's a promo guy, so he's on call all the time. But there was a lot of really experienced voiceover people who kind of went, oh, I just go to the studio. I have to get things set up. So one of the things that I've noticed is that here's a question. The hype mic is awesome, and it's also getting into the price range of really solid condenser mics. So would there be, do you think it's comparable? Do you think it would be like, you'd think of this as a start, and then you'd add to your, add with a duet or a symphony with a condenser mic? Or how does that compare? Because I find in recommending things, as we get to the higher end of the USB realm, it starts blending with the lower or mid-range of the condenser mic. So
Sure.
how would you answer that question?
It's a great question. And I think that because there's a blending, it might be different for different people, but you could definitely make the case, and a strong case at that, that there is a sort of upgrade path that you might look at, maybe starting out with Height Mic or Mic Plus, and a list of things to maybe check off before graduating to a dedicated interface and a more expensive condenser microphone. So, a Height Mic with a decent mic stand, an okay pair of headphones, and a really great corner of your house that sounds really good is gonna get you there, and be pretty astonishing. That being said, some dedicated room treatment, maybe an upgraded pop filter, that sort of thing. There's a couple things that you can kind of take care of that will then sort of walk you closer to the area where you need to start thinking about better converters, a microphone preamp that has higher gain, or integrating outboard gear. So if you maybe work with the same producer all the time, they can talk about, okay, we don't need it necessarily to be dry. We're going to incorporate your personal vocal chain. It's going to be very consistent. And it's going to have these different pieces of other equipment. Just a hypothetical scenario, but there is sort of a way of thinking of this initial investment of $350 all of a sudden becomes very inexpensive when you think about how long that's going to last you sort of in your upgrade life before you start getting into some of the higher end pieces of gear.
Yeah. And that a high-end German condenser mic is, or even shotgun mic is in the thousands, right? Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
also what we
definitely.
like to, that's what we also like to talk about at the dojo, is understanding that there is this evolution. There's this evolution in, as you're building your business, you invest in your equipment, and
Yep.
you work to get, as Dan says, you don't get equipment to work, you work to get equipment. So start
Right.
where you can and then build from there. So yeah.
Right. I always equated it like when I'm doing my own things, like whether it is an on-camera thing, like, the thing that is your calling card is, especially like you want to have a good microphone for your voice, because when you put out a voiceover or an audition, you want the best quality that you can have. Obviously something you can afford, because that's your calling card. Same thing if you have something that's taking your headshots. You would rather have a professional photographer doing your headshots, and my buddy's like, oh, hey, I got this little camera and I'll just take some pictures of you. So you do want something that is professional and affordable, so you can put your best effort forward.
Yeah. And you can't sound bad. You can't sound bad and be in the game.
Correct.
You need to sound good. So that's great.
I had somebody so like, I got this free mic from a friend of mine, I'm just going to use that for my voiceover. I'm like, I'm not trying to get you to buy anything, but you do what you want. I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to be your calling card. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, this is fantastic. And just for reference, the Symphony, what is the price range that we're talking about at that $1 million into
$14.99, so just under $1,500, and so in comparison to Hype Mic, that sounds like a lot, but when you start looking at the high end interfaces that we make in the $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 range, this is a nice way to kind of get a slice of that sound quality in a cute little box that has a cool touchscreen and that kind of thing. But yeah, that would be someone that's graduated to that level, that's starting to think about more expensive condenser mics and maybe a dedicated recording facility and building out something like that.
Cool. Fantastic. Where should we go from here, Joshua?
Well, I know some folks might need to move on at the top of the hour, Tish. So would you say a little bit about the special offer from the dojo, and then we can get to questions, from as many people as we can after the top of the hour?
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see. So, in terms of what's going on at the dojo, We have, I'll just say in a nutshell what we're about and what we do, and then what the offer that we're sharing here today. So the dojo is a full training program that is designed to guide, support, connect, and accelerate you every step of the way from I don't know to working pro. So wherever you are in your VO journey, we're here to meet you and take your career all the way. Um, and this is also applies to wherever you have other expertise, right? If you're coming from the music industry, or if you're a singer, or you're an actor, how do you apply those skills and that mastery that you have to this medium, right? We just need to translate and calibrate. And how do you do that in the most succinct way? And how do you do it not alone, but together? That's pretty much what the dojo is about. Um, so we have our development division and we have our working pro division. So in development division, we have a monthly Q&A called Ask the Sensei, the first Wednesday of every month. We start everyone at the with their introductory course, which is called You Should Do Voiceover. It's a 6-week virtual class that gives you a comprehensive overview and a little taste of everywhere your voice can be making money. And then the main part of the development division is our Mystery to Mastery program, which is a 14-month full training program. It's divided into 4 belt levels that takes you through the natural progression from I don't know to working pro, working 7 elements working together to really focus and concentrate your efforts in the most succinct way. Again, working collaboratively to amplify your efforts by working together. And then the working pro division, when you finish your Mystery to Mastery, you earn your black belt, and then we move into the working pro division, which is called the nth degree, like an nth degree black belt, which is a focus action forum for working pros, where you get a weekly workout and accountability and goal setting and focus action forum. We have nth degree intensive, which is a 3-day weekend that does for you totally focusing on you're moving into the working pro realm. What You Should Do Voiceover does to the big picture. And then we also have our VO Dojo Pro Fight Clubs, which is our working pro workouts that bring together top-notch talent with the decision makers who hire us. People like Ned Lott, who casts Disney Pixar movies. JJ Jurgens, who's a promo director for CBS, is coming on Thursday. We just had some great anime directors, like in all the genres we have them. So that's like the whole journey, and wherever you are, we're here to meet you. So 2 things. The offer here from the dojo is we're offering $100 off the You Should Do Voiceover Intensive. The next one starts June 7th, I believe. And we would love to have you join us. And the way that you can do that is go to what we want you to set up. We want you to set up a voiceover once-over call with our team member Diana. So, and then tell her you met her at the Apogee event. So you can go to, I think Joshua just put it on the thing. The website is there. All the information is in the chat here, and then the voiceover once-over call. So set up a voiceover once-over call, talk to Diana and tell her you met her here, and we'll give you $100 off that. It's a perfect graduation present as well. If you know anybody who's graduating as a performing artist and care about them and would like them to continue doing art and eating. So that is us, and we would love to talk to each and every one of you. We've got a lot of dojo members here, so if we're in breakout rooms and you want to hear more about it, everyone can tell you what they love about being part of the program. And Joey and Carl, what is Apogee?
Sure. So we have a special offer as well. And
Mhm.
so for basically the next, through the end of next week, we'll be offering $50 off Hype Mic and $30 off Mic Plus for all the attendees of this fine live stream that we're doing right now. So we'll have some information sent out to everyone. And yeah, we hope that if you aren't an Apogee owner already, that you take us into consideration.
Because we would like to welcome you to the Apogee family. And I will say, those of you who are interested in doing the You Should Do Voiceover, highly recommend it. It is, not only is it a great class, but it is so much fun. Tish is the best. I had a blast doing it. I can't wait to get back into class. You will have such a great, and you will come away with some great tools to further your voiceover career.
Yeah, it's really hands-on and very experiential. So you'll really have an answer of should you do voiceover. Uh, yeah, good. Cool. Well, that was awesome. And we're just at the top of the hour. So how do you want to roll? Joshua, should we take some questions?
Yes, please, folks. If you'd like to raise your hand to ask a question, and what matters most to you is what matters most to us. So you can go to the participants section and find where to raise your hand there, or for some people on your computer or mobile device, it's in the reaction section. And now let's hear from Angela.
Hello. Hi. This was great information. Thanks you guys for coming in today. I wanted to talk about, I purchased, and full disclosure, I purchased this through Amazon, an Apogee 1+1 for my voiceover work here at the dojo. And what was happening was the software would crash on my iMac computer. It would crash and then pop back up. And the only way for me to get the mic to work was to unplug it and put it back in. So is it something that I'm doing wrong, or is it a flaw in the software? Or is it something going on with the iMac? I tried to see if I could fix it on my own, but it just kept doing this. I would take out the software, bring it back in, but it still keeps crashing.
Sure. So I'll start off by saying it's definitely not something you're doing wrong, right? That's not a normal operation of our products. And we have a great relationship with Apple. We have developed products sort of in tandem with Apple, although they are a separate company. And so the operation on your iMac should be seamless. And so there's definitely something wrong. That's not the experience you should be having with Apogee. It's been a few years since I've been in tech support. So what I would suggest is definitely connecting you with one of our specialists. They're all in the house here. They're all audio engineers, either of the past or continuing to do so, and they'll make quick work of getting you set up and getting that 1+1 working correct.
I believe if you go to the Apogee website and you look for tech support chat, they are all, it's all live chat, and it's available from, I believe, 9 a.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Great. Thank you so much.
And also just wanted to throw out to everybody there that if anybody does have a question, you can always email me, joey@apogeedigital.com, and I will even give you my phone number. It is 818-625-9835. If you have a question, you need something, need a hug, I can do that too. You can text me if you're bored, whatever you want to do. But yeah, please feel free to contact me anytime. I'll help you out however I can.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the other things why Apogee and Dojo are such a good fit, because it's a tight family feel to it, right? It's everybody working together in this creative, passionate modality to create the best product and the most helpful service. But we're here, we literally are here. It's not a faceless, like, it's not a chat bot, it's Joey. Right. And it's not like, hey, click here. It's Diana talking to you, or me talking to you, or so it's human experience in both places, and we're all in this together, working together and supporting each other. So that's why we like working together. So
Well put.
Very well put.
What other questions do we have? I think, Rich, I saw one in the chatty chat, if you wanted to mute yourself, and I'm happy to answer questions about the dojo and programs as well. Um, yeah, Rich Shrub, you want to answer or ask your question?
Yeah, no, it was I was just curious, about the duet platform, and I was I was wondering if Apogee had discontinued making that, and if they did, what I was just curious what the reasoning was, if there was another thing that kind of took over what it was doing, or where 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 its level in like the Apogee ecosystem
Mhm.
landed, and what is there now to kind that is doing the same thing.
Sure. So without getting into too much crazy detail, so basically when the company sort of did its plan for the year 2020, we said, okay, here's how many duets that we want to provide to people, and then the pandemic hit, and everyone is now, as Tish was mentioning, there's so many people that were used to walking into a studio were having to record themselves at home, and so interfaces, microphones, everything exploded for us. And while the pandemic has been a nightmare for so many people, that was one sort of thing that was we were welcoming. We liked that business.
Yeah.
But the problem is, with us sort of having the plan of we're going to make this many duets, and then us running out in summertime, there's been this lapse of us having to basically discontinue the product because we don't have any more of it. There's, if some people have been watching the news, they'll know that there's an enormous sort of component shortage that's affecting electronics, automobiles. We're included in that. There's a big problem with that. And so it was difficult to really make the decision to continue producing that old one, even if we wanted to. It wasn't really a possibility. So I can't say much else about what's going to happen down the road, but hint, wink, wink. Stay tuned very, very soon for some exciting information and something that's going to take that product's place. And yeah, more on that later.
Still a great product. I have one. I love it.
Fantastic. I wish we had more of them right now, but we're in this spot where we're sort of waiting for the next step for Apogee to take.
You can sell it as vintage equipment.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's the packaging.
It's funny, there's a product that we made probably in the mid 90s called the 88,000. And if you go on Reverb or ebay.com, you'll still see people selling them back and forth. They're very sought after, and they've lasted, almost 30 years later. So here we are.
They'll be like the mood.
Some of the Firewire products, people just do not want to give those things up, and they just love them. And they run them on old operating systems, and they run just fine.
Yeah, cool. What other questions do we have? Were we so thorough? Wow, that's awesome. We answered all the questions. Yeah, does anyone have any other thoughts? Anything you want to talk about? We have the people who do the things right here.
I have one other question I could ask real quick,
Yeah,
just because
absolutely.
we have experts in the field here. I was just out of curiosity, I was looking at mics, and obviously the two mics you guys are talking about today are USB mics, and so I was curious, what do you say to people who are concerned about, it's like, well, there's a drop in quality when you're using USB compared to a more traditional like XLR connection, or there's a ceiling that you can reach with USB that it doesn't you can do more with a more traditional audio connection.
I think that's true of a lot of USB microphones out there. I would say that that's not true for Apogee microphones. The real sort of DNA and passion for making things sound as good as they can in these contexts, like in a USB microphone or in a product that we want to make hit a certain price point. If you look at each of those categories, Apogee is a leader in all of those. We're always going to be the sort of high-end, the high-performance solution. Maybe not always the most expensive, but definitely the most high performance. And I think that with the hype mic Plus specifically, it's a great example of sort of smashing all those preconceived notions that one might have from, you know, their old Logitech USB microphone, where it's going to sound very, very bad. Hype Mic is a studio in a box, and you're truly getting not some off-the-shelf sort of componentry that we got from, you know, other manufacturers or something like that. It's a, you know, Apogee designed condense. It's an Apogee designed microphone capsule. It's our mic pre-design system, and so it's you know, a smaller footprint, smaller size, but you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck there. And I will say that there have been a few examples from, you know, third parties that have said this is keeping up really perfectly with my U87 or my Neumann TLM 103, or, you know, a microphone that's, you know, considerably more expensive, that requires a preamp, it requires an audio interface, so it's a bigger investment. Hype Mic is, you know, basically at the same level, so it's very competitive.
There's also some, if you go to Apogee's webpage, you can, under our product section, there's some really, really cool videos, not only on Hype Mic, but also on Meta Recorder if you want more information. But there's a really cool unboxing video that Henny the Business does. He's a producer and rapper, and he is, I mean, obviously this is music, but he is such a big fan of the Hype Mic. It's crazy. Back when I was more helping out with customer service, we had a guy come in with this huge microphone. This thing had to be about $20,000. He had the preamps, everything brought in with him. And he was asking us about it. And then like one of us showed him the Hype Mic, and he borrowed it, came back, he goes, this thing sounds better than my $20,000 microphone. And he was like, can I buy this now? We're like, yeah, you know, but there's some really cool information about it. Everybody, all my friends that in the business, voiceover wise, even in film business and musicians, they love our mics. And they also use other mics as well, but ours always seems to come out on top as far as definitely for sound.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, any other questions right now? Know that if they come up, we are all very much available at the places where we've said, www.thevodojo.com, Joey's personal bat line, the bat phone to Joey.
Or like Robin, but thanks.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Well, if there's no more questions, let's wrap up, and nicely done, guys. We did that in a very succinct amount of time. I'm looking forward to, are we going to offer breakout rooms if people want to stay and chat, Joshua?
Definitely. We are all about community here at the VO Dojo. And so, folks, if you want to stay on and talk with one another, we have had such a fun time geeking out here around all these different opportunities. But yeah, you can go deeper together in breakout rooms if you'd like to stay on. And I'll keep my computer open at least for the next hour or so if folks want to, you know, continue to connect.
Yeah, and there's lots of dojo folks here, so if you want to chat with people more about the program, chances are someone will be in a room with you. So yeah, well, Joey and Carl, thank you so much. If you have time to hang out in chat rooms, you can. If not, people have your numbers. This is so cool, and I think one of the things that I love about working with you guys is that Apogee makes it really easy, and you guys make it really accessible. I think as people are starting on this journey, it's so easy to get totally freaked out about your equipment, how's it work, and how much I'm going to spend, and which is best, and it's, you just make it like, here, do this. It's, and then if, you know, as things build and you build success, then you can build from there. But here, start. It's okay. Take it wherever you go. Which again is really cool. Like literally. I mean, I've used my Hype Mic in the back of the rental car in Cinque Terre. It's like, oh, gotta get my audition in. So I'm like, yeah, take it around the world, literally. So,
Yep.
yeah, cool. Well, let's bring this portion of this event to a conclusion. And if you want to hang out, just stay on for a second, and then Joshua will break us up into little groups of chat. And thank you all so much for being here. Joey and Carl, thank you for sharing everything today.
Thank you.
Joshua and Jeffrey, thank you for making sure everyone's taken care of in the background. And thanks everyone. Look forward to getting to work and play with you, and to you all sounding great in the easiest possible way.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
all right, guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tish. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Tish. Thanks, VO Dojo.